Hi there, my name's Rachel Davies and I'm a mum of 3 and I'm super excited to be part of the Trying to Conceive Diaries. So I'm just going to basically tell you a little bit of our backstory first and then I'll go into everything that's happening at the moment while trying to conceive baby number 4. So I fell pregnant in 2016 with my first little girl, Olivia, and it took about 5 months to conceive her. I was on contraception beforehand and I fully expected it to take a little while because obviously I know it has to get out of your system. So yeah, we fell pregnant with her after 5 months, and then our second little girl was actually conceived when Olivia was only 3.5 months old. I was on contraception and it did come as an absolutely humongous shock to us. It was just yeah, it was just a huge overwhelming thing to kind of have to take in when you've got such a small little baby. And before I felt like I had time to kind of absorb that I was going to have 2 little ones with you know, 12 months apart, I was hit with hyperemesis. For anyone that doesn't know, hyperemesis is a really severe form of morning sickness, and that hit me hard. That hit me so hard at about 5.5 weeks pregnant. And obviously I had Olivia, who was, I think at that point she was about 4 months old. So it was just incredibly overwhelming, to say the least. The hyperemesis got so bad that I was put on medication. I was still sick anywhere from like 30 to 50 times a day, and as crazy as that sounds, that's no exaggeration at all. And I had to go in and out of hospital on fluids to rehydrate, and it was just a really tough time when we had obviously Olivia, who was really tiny as well. So yeah, obviously I went through the hyperemesis with Oriana, and then I have my little girls who are 12 months apart, and they are just amazing. They might argue all the time, but they're amazing. Yeah, so then after everything that happened with Oriana, because I had hyperemesis with her and the birth was very difficult with her, and then when she arrived, bless her, she had a really severe dairy allergy, so the whole time was quite kind of traumatic. And to be honest, I wasn't sure if I definitely wanted to have children again. My husband was definitely like, no, we definitely want to have more, and I was just a bit like, oh, I can't see myself getting through that again. Like, if the hyperemesis is just as bad as it was last time, I just don't think I'll be able to do that with 2 children. So we finally did decide we were going to have another little one, and we did conceive him quite quickly. Thankfully at that point my cycles were completely like regular. I could track my ovulation quite easily. I know when my period was due. It was just very easy to kind of track everything. I fell pregnant with Orlando, and I did get hyperemesis again. Thankfully it wasn't as severe as it was with Oriana. Whether that's because it was a boy and Ari was a little girl, I have no idea, but it just wasn't as bad. I only had to go in hospital for the fluids once, so it just wasn't as severe. I did plan a home birth, but unfortunately that didn't go ahead due to him pooping in his waters, the little monkey. So I had him in hospital, but it was just so quick, and he literally fell on the floor. Like, he fell on the hospital floor. Crazy. But anyway, after the experience that I had with Orlando, with the pregnancy being a little bit easier, the birth was just amazing, and everything with him since he arrived, like the breastfeeding and everything, it's just been easier. So we always said we wanted a big family, and I said I would be happy to have 1 more. People think we are crazy, maybe we are, who knows. But yeah, we always wanted a big family, so we are currently trying for baby number 4. However, I am breastfeeding this time round. My little boy is 19 months old now, and he does still feed a lot, particularly at night. that is something that I'm trying to kind of cut down a little bit. So I'll go back to September when we decided we would like to try for baby number 4. And my cycles hadn't returned yet, but I was spotting a lot, and it was a case of, it was like every 2 days, pretty much every 2 days. And it was just worrying. At first I was just like, okay, maybe it's just the breastfeeding, I'm not going to worry too much. But then it got to kind of, I think it had been about 3-4 weeks, and I was thinking, no, this can't be right, this just can't be right. And everyone I spoke to was like, no, I never had that when I was breastfeeding. So I was thinking, okay, I need to see a doctor about this. So I went to the doctor and explained what was going on to her, and she had a look at my cervix and then said she thinks it's a cervical erosion. So there's me obviously putting it down to breastfeeding, and she thinks it's due to the cervical erosion. So she sent me to see gynecology and have a colposcopy, and thankfully everything was fine. When I did actually go and see the doctor, she was just a bit like, oh, so I need to see gynecology because I just want to make sure it's nothing sinister. And I was like, oh my God, that's so scary. Like, I was so scared it was something just worse. And I got myself really worked up about it. And obviously I don't think the stress helped anything. But anyway, yeah, I did go and see the gynecologist and the colposcopy team, and thankfully everything was fine. And she's pretty convinced that the breastfeeding is causing the spotting. So I actually spotted from September to January, literally every 2 or 3 days. During that time, we obviously were trying to conceive, and I was using ovulation sticks and things like that, but I just don't think I was ovulating at that time. I didn't get like a clear positive on the ovulation sticks. And with the constant bleeding, my cycles hadn't returned properly. I mean, I know people can fall pregnant before they've had a period with breastfeeding, but I just feel like I wasn't ovulating at all with everything that was going on at that time. So fast forward to January this year, and the bleeding stopped. It stopped in mid-January, and literally I had nothing then until February. So I think it was like 33 days of nothing, no spotting or anything like that. And when my period arrived after, I'm sure it was like 33 days, I was like, oh my God, my cycle's quite normal. So I was super excited about that. And I just felt like if everything's going to kind of settle down now, this will be much easier. I can track things a little bit better. I put my dates into the Flow app, and it kind of gave me, you know, for anyone that hasn't heard of it, it's like an app that helps you track ovulation and track when your periods are and things like that. So I put all my information into that app, and I just found it super helpful because it was saying 33 days is normal, and this is when your next period will be, and this is when you could be ovulating. So I was just super excited about that. But unfortunately the next cycle I started to feel this like immense tiredness. So I was like, do you know what, I'm gonna do a pregnancy test just to see. And it came up positive, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is just so exciting. Like, we were really excited. And then I did one the next day, and it was a little bit darker, and it's still very clear. And we were both really excited. And then on the following day, I got up, and for anyone that doesn't know me, I am absolutely obsessed with peeing on pregnancy sticks. It is not even normal. But on the third day, I used another pregnancy test, and it was negative. But it was like completely negative. There was just nothing there, not even a hint of a line. And then I did one the following day, and it was the same. So we are pretty convinced that this last month has been a chemical pregnancy. The bleed that followed that month, or should I say this month, has been so heavy and painful, and just nothing. I mean, you know your own body, don't you? And it's nothing that I've ever had before. really, really, really heavy to the point that I couldn't leave the house, and painful, and just not what I usually experience. So we are pretty sure that I had a chemical pregnancy this last month. I am coming out of that now and into the next cycle. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment. My plan going forward is, I feel like Orlando feeding so much is definitely impacting ovulation. I have done so much research the past kind of 2 weeks into, will feeding make a difference if I feed too much? Will it make a difference if I feed through the night? Just all these different things, trying to figure out if there's anything that I can do to help us to conceive. And most information I've read has just basically said that if you want to ovulate, the best thing to do is, instead of cutting down gradually, is just kind of stop abruptly, not altogether, just maybe drop 1 or 2 feeds. So that is what I've tried to do the past few days. It's not working out very easy, to say the least. He is such a booby monster, but we will get there. I am absolutely determined to get there. So I have no intention of giving up breastfeeding anytime soon, because I just know he isn't ready, and I wouldn't do that. But I'm just trying to basically drop it. So he feeds in the morning, he feeds maybe at like midday when he has his nap, and then he feeds, you know, in the evening to get to sleep, and then throughout the night anyway. So I don't know if that will make any difference to my, you know, cycles and things like that, but according to everything that I've read, it should do. So we shall see. Yeah, so as I mentioned, my cycles have definitely settled down. They're a lot more regular now. So I'm hoping this month will be much easier to kind of track everything, and obviously with my plan with Orlando's feeds, hopefully I will actually ovulate for sure, and I will be able to track it. I've also got this really handy device. It's called Breathe ILO, and you just breathe into it and it can tell you when you're ovulating. I've not tried it for a full month yet, so I don't really know how it works exactly, but I've also got that. So I'm hoping that this month, yeah, this month will just be easier, but we shall see, I guess. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And I would love you to tune into my next video and share this journey with us. So thank you so much for watching.